Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here. I tried doing this video a moment ago, I just messed up on it for some odd reason. But I'm returning to you for part 2 of the Tuesday album reviews, season 4 episode, well, not season 4 episode, season 4 recap video, part 2 of this, to finish out the rest of it. So I'm going to continue where I left off, which the last one I talked about was the Kings of Leon Come Around Sundown for episode 14. So this is going to be from 15 to 22 that I'm going to be talking about for each episode I did and would recommend checking out and all that. And let you know my thoughts on this Tuesday album review season 4 recap video. So let's dive right into this part 2 of Tuesday album review season 4 recap video. Now at episode 15 was Motionless in White Graveyard Shift. I almost said number 15, so please forgive me on that. I really enjoyed Voices only because of the fact that that song particularly I can relate to with the depression and anxiety kind of stuff, and what the song is basically talking about is about mental illness and all that. So yeah, um, really enjoyed that song, and Hourglass was my favorite. Untouchable was a little on the cringe side. I didn't hate it, I just was unsure about that one. But um, there were some other songs like Queen for Queen, Necessary Evil, um, and then no, mostly Voices was my favorite song off this album, and Loud Fuck It was pretty good. So there were a lot of great tracks off this album. But still, certain songs didn't execute too well, but they did alright performance-wise. So episode 15 I did was for Motionless in White, Graveyard Shift, and also Eternally Yours was a pretty much a great song. I like the closing part of the track to it, close to the end of the song. So it did pretty well. Um, And definitely go check out this episode if you haven't seen it for episode 15 of Tuesday Album Review for season 4. I did it back in September, but I hope you enjoyed it. So, episode 16 is for The Weeknd, Beauty Behind the Madness, that I did a Tuesday album review on for season 4. I really did like this album. I think it's pretty good, but there were some safe songs on this album, meaning some of the melody was playing it a bit safe. And certain lyrics were playing it safe too, but it is what it is, so sorry about my yawning for a moment ago. I did enjoy Shame. I enjoyed the final song, Angel, which was a great closing track to this Beauty Behind the Madness album. Can't Feel My Face was a very popular song, and it decimated the pop charts for sure, meaning it did very well. So, Often wasn't my personal favorite, but Earned It was pretty good. In the Night was a great track. There were a lot of good songs from this album. So this was The Weeknd's most popular and best album that I've listened to back in 2015, and it was really enjoyable. So yeah, episode 16 was for The Weeknd, Beauty Behind the Madness. Definitely go check out this review if you haven't seen it, and definitely support it because I think you will enjoy it. So, in episode 17, the next episode, of course, that I did a week later was for Justin Timberlake, the 2020 Experience. I reviewed the extra tracks, the 2 extra tracks, Body Count, and uh, whatever the other, Suit On or something like that. I can't remember what the song name was. Blue Ocean Floor was my personal favorite. Let the Groove Get In kind of got repetitive, but it was solid. Mirrors was really good, but Suit and Tie was solid, I guess. It wasn't bad, but it did have repetitive chorus, but it still did alright. Pusher Love Girl was pretty good, and Strawberry Bubblegum was pretty good. The only song I didn't like was the one that goes, "I know you lie," kind of thing, and that was Tunnel Vision. And that song was on the fence with me, but it still was a solid track. It wasn't the worst thing I've heard, but still. Episode 17 I did for Tuesday Album Reviews. Season 4 was for Justin Timberlake, the 2020 Experience. Definitely go check this album review out for this Tuesday Album Review if you haven't seen it yet for Season 4, Episode 17. I think you'll enjoy it. Episode 18 I'm going to talk about now is Jay-Z, The Blueprint 3. I remember reviewing this, and I personally didn't hate this album. It's a good album, but it's on the iffy side with me. So, Forever Young, or Young Forever is what it's called. It should be called Forever Young, but I don't know why it's not. It's just playing with the words with this track for the title of the song. And it featured Mr. Hudson, which I really enjoyed it. Run This Town featuring Rihanna and Kanye West was pretty good. And there were some other tracks I remember. New Empire State of New York, or Empire State of Mind, I think it was called, featuring Alicia Keys, was a pretty strong track. So I did enjoy some songs from this album. On to the next one, kind of got repetitive, but it was fine for what it was. So Episode 18 I did was for Jay-Z, The Blueprint 3. Definitely go check out this review if you haven't seen it. I did it about over a month ago, and I think you'll enjoy it, back on October 4th of this year. So definitely check it out. Episode 19 I did was for Rihanna, Rated R. Really enjoyed this album. There's a lot of emotion to this album, for sure. The last song had a lot of emotion, for sure. The last song, I think it was called, I was like, damn, this song is so powerful, but it does very well execution wise. She did have some songs pertaining to the Chris Brown incident, and this album came out months before, well, came out months after the Chris Brown incident, I meant to say. So it was pretty shitty what he did, and that's something I did not condone. But my stupid ass was following him for the longest time, and then he started getting cringy with his newer stuff, and I'm like, you're a fucking sellout, in my opinion. And you just make nasty lyricism too, but still, Rihanna put out a good album for this album. So, Rated R by Rihanna was episode 19. Definitely go check out this review if you haven't seen it for Tuesday Album Review Season 4, Episode 19. I think you'll enjoy it. Episode 20 I did was for Rise Against Endgame. This was a... can't remember what I rated it, but I think it was a pretty good album, if I remember correctly. But I did enjoy some songs from it, and then there's other songs that I'm not sure if I'm liking, but still good effort from Rise Against. I did enjoy some aspects about it. So episode 20 I did was for Rise Against Endgame. I did enjoy Architects from this album. That was my personal favorite track. This is Letting Go was pretty good. What was it? Survivor Guilt, I believe is what it's called. And Wait for Me has grown on me, but I wouldn't say it's my favorite song. And Endgame, the final track, is pretty good. Satellites was it was fine. Midnight Hands was my favorite. Help Is on the Way is pretty good too. So there's a lot of great songs from this album, but there are some misses depending on the song structure and how it's sounding. So yeah, episode 20 I did was for Rise Against Endgame. And episode 21 next is for Ice Nine Kills, The Silver Scream, The Final Cut. I reviewed all 19 songs, talked about all 19 songs in that review. It was a lengthy review, but it came out before Halloween, which I hope you enjoyed it. Because I worked hard to make it as good as possible, but still, what is it? Thank God It's Friday was my favorite. Savages was pretty good. The World in My Hands was my favorite too. And there was a lot of songs that were so messed up, but it was meant to be a Halloween album for one purpose only. There was a lot of sick stuff in this album, but it still was a really strong album and really good in my opinion. But still, Love Bites was the song I wasn't sure if I was feeling for. It had a featured artist in it. It Is the End was my favorite. Your Numbers Up was pretty strong. The Thriller song I wasn't feeling for, the Thriller cover, but I think the second one's even better too, and that's something I might re-review in due time. Uh, I don't know when. Maybe in the next season of Tuesday album reviews, I'll decide what to do with that. But still, The American Nightmare was a strong track, and other tracks like that. So yeah, Ice Nine Kills, The Silver Scream, The Final Cut was episode 21 I did for season 4 of Tuesday album reviews. Definitely go check this out if you haven't seen it. I think you'll enjoy it. And finally, the last episode was for episode 22 for Kid Cudi, Man on the Moon, The End of Day. I think it was an okay album to end my Tuesday album review season. And there were some tracks I wasn't connecting with, but Day and Night was my personal favorite. And Pursuit of Happiness was, it was something. It wasn't great, but it was something at least. Um, some Kid Cudi albums can be hits and misses depending on how it sounds overall, but still. Um, Kid Cudi, Man on the Moon, The End of Day was episode 22. Sorry if I paused for a moment. I was just trying to think of what to say and the right way to say it. Yeah, for season 4 of Tuesday Album Reviews, episode 22 was Kid Cudi, Man on the Moon, The End of Day. Definitely go check out this final album review for this season if you haven't seen it. And that is going to be it for this final part of the recap videos for Tuesday Album Reviews Season 4 recap videos for parts 1 and 2. Hopefully you enjoyed them, so comment below. Let me know what you guys thought of this recap video for Tuesday Album Review Season 4 for parts 1 and 2 if you enjoyed them. And if you enjoyed parts 1 and 2 of these recap videos for Tuesday Album Review Season 4 for all the episodes I talked about, from episodes 1 to 22, comment below and let me know your thoughts on it. Tap like on this video if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you can support the channel. I'll have another premiere video coming out a little later today for the Wednesday versus video. But until then, I hope you enjoyed this Tuesday album reviews, season 4 recap videos for parts 1 and 2. I did the best I could to make it as good as possible. And there are a couple more movies I'm going to be checking out. The Weird Al movie with Daniel Radcliffe in it and Dear Zoe. And after that, I'm probably going to move on to the newer movies for the rest of the year. So until then, stay safe. Take care, guys. Hope you enjoyed this lengthy video. I know it's almost 15 minutes long, but I'm doing the best I can to make it as good as possible. And as always, I will see you in my next review.